Welcome back to OrdoAirsoft. Today we're going to talk about how to maintain your HPA system. And today we're going to be talking about two different platforms, the Jack and the Fusion engine, but this also works for other HPA platforms. So as far as maintaining an HPA system, it's really easy and there's not much to it compared to say like an AEG system, and especially if you're into like green gas or CO2 systems. This is basically almost maintenance free. Now, first, we're going to talk about the Generation 1 Fusion engine here. We've had this for 7 years now, about 7, 8 years, and basically, the only thing you're going to want to do with HPA systems is the main thing is don't let contaminants get inside. And the biggest way you could do that is you could see over here we got an air line right here. We got this airline. This is always how you should store your airlines, like connected like this. That way nothing can ever get into your air system. And keep the end of your air connection. Don't put it down in the dirt if you put your gun on the ground. Don't do stuff like that, because that's basically the main thing, because that will cause leaks. And over here with the Jack, we've actually had problems with it leaking before because of contaminants getting inside. And if you own a Jack, I would not recommend taking it apart and to lubricate the O-rings, because you could introduce more contamination. So I would just, if you have a Jack, leave it alone. Less prone to contamination, because we have swapped out nozzles, poppets, and we've never had any issues with this. So if you want to, you could take it apart, lubricate the O-rings, but it's really not necessary unless it's like an LMG setup where you're putting thousands and thousands of rounds through it. And the lubricant we do use is Tech T gun salve. Now, this is the lubricant of choice. This is what Polar Star recommends. Tech T gun salve. Basically just an O-ring grease. That's basically all there is to it as far as maintaining the HPA system itself. Now, as far as the tank and regulator, you're always going to want to keep pressure in your tank. So if you don't play very often and you fully shot the air out of your tank, you got to get it some pressure in there, because it's not good to have your HPA tank have no pressure in there whatsoever. And also like to store the regulator on top of it, that way nothing can really get into that little pin valve in the tank. And if you have covers for like the charge port for the tank, cover that up. Just stuff like that. And why you want to keep pressure in the tanks is because you want to have some pressure on the O-rings in the tank, because if it sits a long time without having any pressure on there, the O-ring could not seat as well when you put pressure in it, and it could leak. And we've actually had that happen with one of our tanks that we didn't leave any air in, and that exact thing happened. So just leave a little bit of air. It could be like 500 psi. As long as there's some pressure in there, you'll be fine. And if you guys are wondering, if you have a Fusion engine, if you want to change out the nozzle to something different, then we have a video on how to change out the nozzle and how to apply Tech T to the right parts and O-rings. So if you guys want to check out that video, it'll be linked right up there.